Welcome to our next video in our series talking about social exclusion. People with disabilities do face social exclusion on a daily basis, particularly those with vision impairments and hearing impairments. That's what this channel is about. Let's talk about when you're in a circle of friends. Now, I don't mean your circle of friends in a network. I mean when you're actually at a party. This is where this gets a little bit awkward. Sadly, many people don't understand the severity of our disabilities, nor do they care. It's up to us to explain to them. Now, this is not a lesson in you don't spend 5 minutes dwelling on it. Just ask them to speak clearly. Ask them not to look down at their phone while they're talking to you. Ask them not to move their head profusely while speaking to you as well. You need to understand that people don't understand what we miss out on. And we miss out on a lot in a lot of conversations. Now, there's sometimes at some events where we feel like we're actually not part of the conversation. We're being ignored. And that's something that I want to bring up today. There sadly are people who don't understand our position when it comes to our disability or how we cope with that. So let me explain what I'm talking about here. When you're in a group of friends, say you're at a party and there's a circle of people and you're in that conversation, you ever felt that you're not part of that conversation? Yeah. That's right. We're not part of the conversation. Here's why. We lead a different life to a lot of people, and that's because we are either not able to work, we're not able to do social activity. But what do these people talk about? They talk about work, social activity, and their lifestyle. What can you talk about? This is what concerns me. That when you're around people, we've got nothing in common with them. We have nothing in common, and that's where the problem lies. We can be in situations where people talk about things that we can't be a part of. And that's where the problem starts. Because how can we enjoy being part of a conversation that we can't be part of? How do we get around that? How do we cope with that? Unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do. Because we are a part of society that is socially excluded, and I can tell you now that the 70% of the vision impaired and blind are unemployed. So how does that help when you go to a social event where the majority of the people there are going to be workers? They're going to be talking about their jobs and they're going to talk about that. So what do you talk about? Not much we can talk about, is there? Because we're socially excluded from that situation. It'd be like if a group of disabled people, vision impaired, hearing impaired people, stood in a circle and there's one person who's got full sight, full hearing. They'd actually be socially excluded. But it wouldn't happen. Do you know why? Because that person would lead the conversation. Yeah, that's how that works. When you start to see the complexity of how that works, you will actually see that that would never happen. Because the sighted and hearing impaired person would, and non-hearing impaired person would lead the conversation. Because they can. So when next time you're out at a family gathering, take just a close look at people when you speak. They're not taking any bit of notice of you. The reason they're doing that is because they don't want to either offend you or they're worried about the fact that you're not part of their social group. Now, they don't mean to offend you, but unfortunately they do. So how can we teach people to understand this? What I encourage people to do, and I've got family that will probably look at this video. Let me use them as an example. Here's what I think they need to do. When you walk up to a circle of people, you're always on your own. We always are. Yeah, we always are. We're never part of a group. We've got to come into a group. What they never do is they never acknowledge that I'm there. They never go, oh, good day, Nick, how are you? No one ever acknowledges that. They just keep talking. See, test this next time you're in a group where you go to a social function where this is actually happening, where you walk into a ring of people. They will not acknowledge you're there because they know you're not part of that social circle. They know that. They know that. It's a psychological thing. They know it already before you even walk into that social circle. So what do? Do we just put up with it? Well, we can. I mean, that's an option to just... People say, geez, he's rude. No, not rude. You just don't understand my needs. Not that we should take over the event, but we certainly do need things to adapt to our needs to be able to do what we need to do. So have a bit of a think about that next time you've been invited to something. Just have a bit of a think how you'll feel when you're at that function and you're sort of got to put up with what you're being thrown at you, which is not always easy. Catch you next time on Nick's Vision to Hear, and we'll look forward to catching you next time. I've got a couple of ideas for some videos on the back of this one. So trust you'll enjoy this one. Like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll get back to you soon. Talk to you next time.